Should we apply AI in the world of animation? You might have seen the recent trend of AI interfering with the art realm with different software such as Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, or Nova AI. One of which is the world of animation, arousing various other video of quote-unquote remastered animation, which completely ruins what the artist initially intended as well as disobeying the fundamental aspect of animation. To understand the reasoning behind it, let's first go through the basics of animation fundamentals. Standard animations is mainly on 24 frames per second, which is quite a lot for animators since it is needed to draw an individual drawing for each frame, where a total of 24 drawings have to be created just in a second. So, the animators occasionally animate on twos or on threes and so on, meaning having 2 or 3 same drawing in a single frame. This is to create a different fluidity and to make it a part of the style, so it is not just a compromise or a straight out being lazy.
Early on, we realized that animating on twos was going to be a great solution for a couple of reasons. If you just watch it at speed, you're just immersed in the movie. You're not noticing all these things. They're really sneakily hidden in there. But if you pause and slow down the same footage, and you'll see only every other frame miles is animated. That's what we're describing as on twos. You get that nice crispness, that pop art feel we're looking for. Almost every shot in the movie, the cameras are on ones. So we had to come up with all kinds of different technical solutions for how to make our performances with our characters on twos work with different styles of camera always on one.
Furthermore, more than 24 frames per second can look great if done right and the artist intended it. Having the right timing and easing is crucial as it could make or break your animation of yours. Here's an example of a 48 frames per second animation with no assistance from the AI. Looks great, right? You can see good fluidity and timing which AI mastering can only dream of achieving. AI remaster animation completely disobeys the fundamental and just creates frames in between animation, cause it doesn't have the proper concept. To an AI, it is just a bunch of frames that it needed to fill the gaps for the sake of it. There was a book that talks about some of these fundamentals called The Illusion of Life, Disney Animation in 1981, where Disney animators Ollie Johnston and Frank Thomas taught about these 12 fundamentals of animation. And the AI improvised version ruins these fundamentals, notably the basics of squash and stretch as well as easing. For those who don't know, the definition of easing is a transition method that makes the motion less jarring, whereas squash and stretch gives flexibility and vitality by applying the transformation of shapes. Take the following video as an example. As you can see, it is utterly convincing that the motion of squash and stretch, where the artist originally intended, was conflicted by the AI's improvised version. Correspondingly, it gives an uncanny vibe for the detailed motion. It is due to the intended purpose of squash and stretch is to have the audience interpret the low frame rate movement of such while allowing the brain to be creative and imagine the exaggeration along with the animated motion. With AI, it fills those gaps between the frames where our brain doesn't need to think that much, thus letting the squash and stretch effect be widely overemphasized. Furthermore, the easing is horribly done where the action is lifeless and unnatural. The AI have no real knowledge of the spacing, dimension, and the easing of motion, so implemented very emotionless in between frames. Although you might not see it, but you do definitely feel the unnatural movement. That is why in the animation industry, there is a different department responsible for the keyframe animation and the in-between frames, where the in-between frame animator is doing exactly what the AI is doing.
Do you want to explain keyframes and in between the corner?
So let's this is 1,
Yeah.
2
Right.
for a punch. 1,
Right.
2.
Right.
But for there needs some in betweens to maybe just the key pause, in betweens,
Right.
in betweens, key pause.
And those are the in-betweens are normally not as polished as the
So the in betweens, it's you have to take the the two key pose and to
Layer them.
layer them, and you do the in-betweens and like that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Basically like the plugin in After Effects that people put over the anime to make it 60 FPS, but someone's actually doing that themselves.
Right.
That's the best way I can describe it.
In Japan, we are 24 FPS.
Yeah,
24 FPS.
yeah.
So this begs the question, should we apply AI in the world of animation? Definitely no, at least in the current stage. But what we can use for AI is for it to brainstorm new ideas and inspirations, as it could introduce various fascinating and innovative prototypes in a short span of seconds, including fields of product designs, branding design, illustrations, concept art, etc. In fact, video games companies such as RayArc started to recruit AI artists as it is complicated and hard to use apps such as Midjourney, Nova AI, DALL-E 2 effectively. But if used effectively, it essentially boosts innovation and competition, along with improving the efficiency in the creative working field, endorsing new designs that cater to the diverse art style and elevating the industry in a new level. Thus, AI is a tool to assist artists, not a final product enhancement. Thank you.